Hello, and welcome to the latest, greatest episode of Two Likeable Guys. We have a treat for you today. We're starting a very informative, entertaining, small, I believe it's going to be a 3-part series about, is God still in the miracle business? Remember to follow us, like us, everything you can. You can always meet us at You can always go with us. You can always find us.
Ain't nobody want to meet us.
Yeah. Yeah. Our meet and greet has been postponed due to COVID.
Yeah, COVID restrictions.
Anyway, hey, I'm Steve, and this is our wonderful, awesome, technical wizard and amazing co-host, Mr.
Josh.
And we're coming to you from the second greatest red bank in America.
Whoa. Man,
or not.
I don't want to mess up our fan base now.
Yeah. We're coming from the greatest, one of the 2 greatest towns. I guess that's the line. We're coming from one of the 2 greatest towns named Red Bank in America that I know of.
You put an awful lot of faith in New Jersey.
Yeah, well, that is where the stash is, from what I understand.
You're right.
Well, I want to go ahead and kind of tell a little story. You know, we have issues going different places, and went to Crystal's the other night. The wife wanted something to eat. I wanted something to eat. So I was like, after work, I stopped by Crystal's on the way home, and they have this little meal that comes with a couple Crystals and a tater tot. And then my wife got whatever she wanted. And so I ordered all this stuff. And so I get up to the window. I pay for everything. The gentleman starts handing me out food and the drinks. And he gets to my wife ordered a chili cheese fry. And so he's putting the chili cheese fry, he's handing it out to me last. And he looks at me and says, "Oh, did you really want that tater tot you ordered?" I said, yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I ordered it. You know, I was just like, what kind of a question is that? I was like, yes, please. I ordered it. Oh, are you sure you wanted something you ordered?
You really gonna make me fix that for you?
Yeah. And then he got so disgusted when I said yes. He said, it'll be a couple minutes.
Jeez.
Oh, I couldn't help it. I just busted out laughing. I was busted out laughing. I was just like, this is ridiculous. But that was but anyway, I waited 2 minutes, and I'm sure I got my dropped on the floor tater tots.
Little some extra in there with them.
They had some spice. But yeah, that was my little funny story from last week.
That just looked like pepper on them.
Yes. Yeah, that wasn't floor grime. But I've also, I've got, I learned something new. We've got my son, and Luke is doing great. He's growing up and getting big. He'll be 2 in months or so. And, so he's in those teen month age. I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. Months old now. And I was laying with him the other day, and he had fell asleep, and a great realization hit me. Do you remember when you were younger and you were first dating a girl, and you were either like holding her hand or she was sitting close to you or something, and you were kind of liking it, so you wouldn't move, but your arm was like going numb, or your side was cramping, but you didn't want to move because you didn't want to, affect the synergy, the funness that was going on, the closeness, the intimacy that was going on? Well, Josh, do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Growing up,
that was a long time ago, but yeah, I kind of remember some of that stuff.
Well, and I thought, after being married for 7, 8 years now, I figured, I was kind of over that. I could be comfortable. No, it's not the case. When you have a kid, You would do whatever. If they're laying up close to you and you just want to feel that intimacy and stuff, you'll sit there. You won't be able to move your arm for a week because you laid in a certain way with your kid for 2 hours and it went numb and lost all circulation and stuff. And you're sitting there, but you're so happy.
I think age might have a little bit to do with that also.
Well, the recovery is definitely.
that's what I'm getting at, the recovery of it.
But I remembered it when I was younger, and I thought, man, I wish. I was like, I'm glad. When I got married, I thought, after the newlywedness wears off, you're like, oh, now I can be comfortable. Nope, not the case. Doesn't happen. It's over, done with. No, you're always going to be uncomfortable, but it's worth every minute of it. Is the point of all that. Well, Josh, do you think God is still in the miracle business?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would agree with that.
I don't think he's out there putting on shows and
asking for money and like saying
slapping people in the forehead and knocking them down and all that good stuff. But
I think that some reason that can heal people, but I don't think that has anything. I don't know.
You think they're just hitting them hard enough to where it knocks something straight?
Knocks something sense into them? Well, it's kind of like what was that movie, Christmas Vacation? His daughter falls in the well, goes cross-eyed, falls back in the well.
No. Gets kicked by a horse or something, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, maybe kicked by a donkey or something.
Yeah.
Falls in the well, goes cross-eyed, gets kicked by a donkey, straightens back out. I don't know. Anyway, we like to have fun. We like to have a lot of fun. But I think I've there's several times in my life where, rent was due, bills were due, and I didn't see any way, and somehow always it makes it and happens. Always able to buy anything, make your payments and purchases, whatever you need, needed medicine for something, a sickness or something, always somehow comes through, maybe a little, sometimes it's been a few days late, but it's never just not happened.
So you consider that miracles?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I don't see a way and there happens to be a way, and some mysterious force makes a way, yeah, I call that a miracle. But I also wanted to, I looked up, I was like, well, what is a miracle exactly?
Did you get the definition from the dictionary?
I got the definition from vocabulary.com. And they said, there's a few different things here. A miracle is an event so marvelous, it seems like it was sent from above. Well, I can see that. And then it's also known as an amazing or wonderful occurrence. It's from the Latin miraculum, object of wonder. And before that, it was derived from sumerios, which means to smile, which is exactly what you do when a miracle happens. Okay, that was all their stuff. That was not mine. I'm not going to take credit for that.
I thought you were just making that up as you went along there.
No, that was all. It was all from vocabulary.com. So it's good stuff. But I can remember there are four events in my life that there was some part of it was miraculous. I'm the first one I don't remember. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Maybe 10, maybe 7. I don't know. I was running through the woods, following the older brother and older neighbor, and we were playing, I don't know, war or hide and seek or something fun like that when you're young,
or lose little Stevie in the woods.
Yes, or ditch the Steve, whichever one it was. I remember running full speed, fast as I can, and there's this cinder block wall, and the guy in front of me jumps off, runs through the woods. The next guy in front of me jumps, and I was last, of course. I was the youngest, the slowest. So I was running down through there, and I stick my foot on that cinder block wall. My foot goes down in the hole, I bend forward. I remember bending so far forward that I was scared. I knew in my head my leg was about to break. I felt it. But I also, when I bent forward, I felt something pushing me back. It's crazy. By all means, in normal, natural sense, I really feel like it should have broken my leg because, I mean, I was running full speed and I went to plant and put my foot in there to jump off, and it was probably a 3 foot or so wall, and I bent forward, and I still cringe when I think about that happening today because it was so, oh man, it was terrible, but it was an absolute miracle. I mean, I think it was. It was miraculous to me that I didn't break my leg. I bent back and I got up and I started running. And I was like, after I was like, whoa, why didn't my leg break? And even at 8 or 9, I was like, did anybody see that? Did anybody see that? No, we were way too far ahead of you. I was like, okay. So, no, I went home and my leg was sore for seems like a day or so, but absolutely insane that it didn't break. Pretty amazing. Um, Another time, I was probably a little bit older. This time I was riding a bicycle down Ticton from the top to the bottom, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go as fast as I can down this hill, and I'm gonna go so fast, it's gonna be awesome. So I go down one little part of it and I'm pedaling. I go around a little turn and I start pedaling again, but I'm going so fast that I can't catch up to put any pressure on the chain. And so my foot slips off. I slam down on my forehead and I slide for, I don't know, it seemed like an hour, but I'm sure it was just like 10, 15, 20 feet, something like that. And I'm kind of like freaking out. I don't know what's going on. I imagine I'm in shock, and I'm just laying in the middle of the road crying. I mean, like I said, I was maybe 10 years old. I don't know, 9, 10. And I just, had this big old crash and slid and, went from having like the biggest adrenaline run to sliding down on my forehead on my bicycle. I can remember it just grinding into the road, and it was terrible. The miraculous part, I was laying in the middle of the road. I was crying. I didn't really know where I was at this point going down the hill, but oddly enough, I had ended up right in front of the driveway for one of my childhood friends, Jim Rowan, and his mother, I believe, was some kind of a medical professional, some kind of a nurse type assistant or something of the sort. And she just happened to be home and she just happened to hear me cry. She came out, she fixed me up, she, you know, calmed me down and sent me on my way. I don't know why it happened right there at that particular place. That's the miraculous part to me. I mean, because of I was riding stupid all the way down this hill. This hill fairly long, and but for me to end up right in front of her driveway, right in front of somebody I knew's driveway, right when they were home, right when they heard me, it was just a miracle to me because today, even today, I still can feel the top center of my forehead. It's been like this ever since that wreck. And it feels like I have rocks in my head. Which actually we just think it's some scar tissue in there.
I'm gonna say rocks in your head.
I may actually have rocks in my head. That may be absolutely true. Um, but I remember sitting there crying, and then the next thing I really remember is her coming out there and helping me up. And I don't know, seemed like it was almost instantaneously. But I feel like, and that her name was, I'm gonna give her credit, Mary Margaret Rowan, and Jim Rowan's mom. Uh, I believe she had part of a miracle that day. Because I mean, I was scared to death, laying in the middle of the road. I'm lucky a car didn't come by and run me over. think I was just some speed bump or something.
Well, back then, cars didn't go as fast as they do now.
Yeah,
you
but
still
you
had to crank them to start them. You know, you get the
yes,
crank
this
out
is
on the front
true.
of them.
Yeah. Well, but you also couldn't see out of them as well.
Had those big wagon wheels on them, so if they did roll over you, I mean, you know, they'd been tall enough to where you could just lay there and been all right.
Well, I may have, and depending on if they had a car or their horse and buggy.
The horse might have trampled you.
Yes. So I'm lucky in that sense. Blessed, whatever. And I think the one thing I've come to conclude from talking about this stuff is just it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I call it a miracle. You call it happenstance. You can call it whatever.
I agree with you on that.
I think there's a benefit in your everyday health and feeling good about yourself to see the things that are miraculous, to point these things out to yourself, to say, well, I was, saved from whatever then, probably going to be helped out later. I think that's just a continuity of thoughts that helps everyday life. Maybe. I mean, it makes me feel better. So, but Josh, did you ever have you ever had any instances, and you may not, that you recall of?
Well, now, I had plenty of bike wrecks.
Yeah, well, you survived them. That's a miracle.
Yeah, well, yeah, But no, nothing right offhand that I
and that's
would
okay.
classify to me, like you were saying, it's perspective.
Yeah.
As and miracle.
I didn't realize this, but I've got 4 items on my list, and they go in chronological order from when I was youngest to as I get older. But the next one is probably the most scary, was the most traumatic for me. I was went with a friend to what was then called the Red Desert, and the Red Desert was back there behind Jersey Pike. You went through Jersey Pike by the railroad tracks, and there's all this big land they were getting ready to was getting ready to be sold, and they were getting ready to build some car dealerships on it, years after this. It just was some woods, and it had some good hills on it. It had some good flats. It was a great place to go ride a dirt bike or a motorcycle or take your 4-wheel drive truck. And generally, most of the time, people didn't bother you there. I mean, there would be a few people out there every now and then, but it was real fun. I mean, I can remember going there and just driving around in a 2-wheel drive truck with one of our mutual friends, Van Davis. And, I've been waiting to mention his name. And with Van, we would go in his truck and just sit out there and discuss life's possibilities. And and there was always airplanes flying over because right there near the airport.
Did y'all have you a little Wayne and Garth experience out there?
Well, kind of.
It was holding hands, laying on the hood of the number 3.
Number 3 black
S10.
Chevrolet S10, the Dale Earnhardt S10 Chevrolet truck that was 2-wheel drive that would pretty much go anywhere that you needed it to for some reason. Pretty amazing. That was a miracle.
That's what I was going to say, because it was a miracle.
Yes, there you go. We're tying it in. But I can remember looking up and seeing, I remember having this conversation with somebody there, and we'd see the plane going over, and then they said, hey, what if that plane was coming in real low and was going to crash? What would you do? I was like, well, I'd run. I said, but you really wouldn't know where it's going to end up because it's coming in so fast, and I was like, I would run. I mean, I'm getting away, I'm hoping I would run in a side direction, not like they do in the movies, where if something's chasing them or following them, they run straight. I would run perpendicular to where the object was heading to get out of its way.
You wouldn't zigzag back and forth?
Well, I mean, if they were shooting at me, maybe. But yeah, you ever see that? You could see somebody running along and They're being chased like a ball or something. A big, huge boulder is rolling down this big mountain, and they're in front of it, and they're just running, and they're running straight. Why don't they just take like 3 steps to the right, let it pass? Makes no sense. But I was over there at the Red Desert. I borrowed my neighbor's 4-wheeler. He was very kind about that, and had a friend who had just bought a new dirt bike, and he was out riding around. So we had been there maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I was just getting out there and opening it up and seeing what it would do. And it was the older Warrior 350, and I think that's what it was. And we were going, I'd gone down this long straightaway, and I turned around, and it was kind of an open area. And so I was full throttle, third, fourth gear. I was booking it. I mean, I was moving on.
He's letting her eat, wasn't you?
I was. I was like, man, this is nice. This is fun, letting it eat. And I just noticed that one of the things that I have problems with is evidently when I start going fast, bad things happen. As you can see, I'm running fast. I'm riding my bike fast. Now I'm on a 4-wheeler fast. So, but coming up, I see like this where the land had washed or shifted or something, and there was it was at a diagonal thing. It was 20, 30 feet long, where the land just had a hump that was probably about 8, 10 inches higher than the land I was riding on. But I saw it too late. I couldn't I couldn't slam on the brakes and stop. That was way too late for that. So I saw it coming up. I was like, well, I guess I better let off. Well, I let off. The next thing I remember, okay, I'm coming up to this big hump, this 8 to 10 inch hump in the land, and I said, I can't go around it because it's too wide. I can't avoid it. I can't stop. Okay, so I'm coming up to it. I remember letting off the throttle. Next thing I remember, I'm riding on down probably 30, 40 yards from where this was, not even thinking about that. And my buddy comes up beside me that was there and says, hey, man, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? He said, well, those 2 guys over there said that you flew off of it and landed on your head and slid like down through beside the woods there. I was like, and then I realized I couldn't account for the time that had gone by. So I go back and I'm looking, and sure enough, I'm wearing a helmet, and my helmet before this had a visor on it, and you can see where I landed kind of like on the front of the visor, and the visor hit and was like in a million pieces right there where I'd slid like 5, 10 feet, I don't know, 10, 15 feet on my head. And they said the 4-wheeler had flipped over. And my friend told me that they helped me back up on the 4-wheeler. They flipped the 4-wheeler back over, helped me back on it, and I took off. Going back, I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't remember any of that. I don't know what's happened. I was like, I need to find those guys. I was like, because it was just it was like not even a minute. He says, hey, are you okay? And I go, like, hey, just, oh my gosh, something's going on. So I go back and I look, and I'm looking for the guys. Never could find them. I rode the trails looking for these guys. I rode all the trails I knew of, and some I found that I didn't know of. Because I said, which way did they go? And he said, they went that way. And I said, okay, I went that way. And it's not this, it's a big area, but it's not so big where you could really get lost without just keep going, and you would end up somewhere where you knew where you were at.
Should have been able to find them.
Should have been able to find them. Definitely should have been able to find them. To no avail. They weren't there. I don't know if they were angels, miracle workers, just concerned citizens. But if they happen to hear this and they were around that, let me know. By gosh, I would love that. That was, but that was probably, 30 years ago now. So, but it was amazing. And he couldn't, I asked my buddy, I said, hey, find them and I want to talk to them. I want them to know what they saw. I want to know what happened. And he couldn't find them either. So I was freaked out And I just loaded up and left after that. I didn't probably ride, 45 minutes to an hour that day. And I was like, dude, I got to get out of here. I'm wigging out. I was feeling a little bit concussed. So that was the miracle people were there. I don't know if they saved me, healed me, just helped me, whatever. But that was miraculous to me, because I do not to this day remember anything that happened from the moment I saw that hump coming up to the moment I was riding off and my buddy said, "Hey, are you okay?" And it's just like there's a piece of time there that's gone. It's amazing. I thought eventually I might remember something of it. Don't. It's pretty crazy. So that was a miracle to me. And the last one, last but not least, I had and this wasn't too long. This is probably 10 years ago now, 15 maybe. I don't know. I went to a Halloween party and I dressed up. And when I was younger, I had allergies, no big deal. Had allergies. So I never could use all the cool Halloween makeup and stuff that other people used. So I thought, well, I'm older now. I don't have these allergies anymore. So I'm going to try some of this cheap white paint. And I went as some kind of a ghost, undead creature. I just painted my face white and had a black robe and went to this Halloween party. Well, it was all fine. Nothing really seemed to happen. And so the next morning I woke up and my face was like it was like chemically burned. It felt like it was like on fire. It was like, felt like I had a sunburn, like a terrible, terrible sunburn. And so I was like, oh, it sucks. This is terrible. And I remember going somewhere and they asked me if, hey, you been out in the sun? I was like, no, I've been wearing Halloween makeup. So, and it slowly got a little bit better. And so I was taking like all the Benadryl and stuff and using creams and stuff. So it was a few days after that and it wasn't getting better. And then I started developing a rash other places, other wheres on my person. And
Now, you can't blame that on the makeup now.
no, well,
You can blame that on your date.
no, no,
I'll take that out.
no, it's fine.
We don't need to leave that in.
No, it's funny. And I just started, you know, it would seem like it made me ultra sensitive to a lot of other things, like like I was allergic to dishwashing, like the clothes detergent now. And so I went, like this was 2 or 3 days later, I was having more rashes. And so I was like, it's the middle of the night. I was miserable. I was like, I'm going to the emergency room. I can't stand this. So I go to the emergency room. They give me a steroid shot and tell me to, take plenty of Benadryl and you'll get better. You'll be fine. Okay, I'll try that. So it was about a week after that. I had made an appointment with my doctor because it was not getting any better. It was terrible. I was itching constantly, and by this time the rash was pretty much everywhere, on my body and stuff. It was kind of gone from my face, still around my neck. All my cracks and crevices they were terrible. Itching, constant itching. Constant itching is such a misery. I never realized it until you experience it. But I mean, I would say it's comparable. I don't know what it's comparable to, but it was miserable. I mean, constant itching. And finally, the only thing I could find that helped a little bit was there was some Benadryl gel that would soothe it for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And you're only supposed to use this stuff like, what, 2 or 3 times a day? And I was going through a bottle a day. It was terrible.
Didn't try the calamine lotion.
Yeah, I tried that. Didn't phase it. It did nothing to it. I itched right through that stuff.
I'm trying to get a picture of you in my mind.
Lucky.
All rashed out and stuff. Did you kind of look like what was it? Chris Elliott and something about Mary.
Yeah, not as poofy. Not as poofy around my face, but everywhere else.
Big boils pop up and stuff.
No big boils, just rashy, itchy all over. So I went to my regular doctor, and they did the same thing. They gave me another steroid shot. They said this should take care of it. Well, it had been 2 weeks since my initial date with the white makeup that started all this mess, and I was miserable. I was just miserable. Nothing seemed to help. And I had a friend that was going to see a service at Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. And they were so nice and kind that they knew I was in misery. And they said they were going to take their time, and they were going to, when they got up to talk to the pastor of the church is the infamous Joel Osteen. He said when he got up there, she said you can use your time however. And so they generously used their time to give him the phone to call me. So I was on the phone, and it's like, hey, you're getting ready to talk to Joel Osteen. I was like, really? That's kind of crazy. Because I'd listened to him some, and I thought he was pretty cool. And so he gets there, and he's like, hey, Steve. He's super country. Super country. Super Texas country, I guess, is the accurate description. And he was like, I heard you're not feeling so well. I was like, yeah, I got this. He was like, kind of interrupts me. He said, you mind if I pray for you? I was like, no, by all means, I'd appreciate it. And so he prayed for me, and I thought, man, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And then I just kept itching and scratching, and everything was terrible. However, that night, after 2 weeks of pure misery of itching, that night I woke up the next morning and I was 80% better. And then the next day it was pretty much all gone. So, I don't know if what exactly happened, but the way I like to look at it is I think it was a facilitated miracle, directed. I think I got some divine intervention in there that just said, all right, he's had enough. Take it away. So, I don't think.
Well, old Joel's got the hotline straight to the big guy.
As I say, I don't think that Joel did anything except I think he interceded between Jesus and the Creator to give me some relief, and for that I appreciate. But I don't think Joel's this miracle healer or anything. I don't think he himself performs miracles, but I think he can help.
Well, he's no Benny Hinn.
No, this is true. Very much. I remember when Benny Hinn came to town. He came to one church in town, and there were protesters outside. And the funniest one I saw, they said, "Hey, I'm Benny. Watch me pull a wabbit out of a hat." And so I was like, I don't know the guy. I don't judge him. I don't, but I don't know that. I just don't know. I don't know, but I do believe in miracles.
Well,
but
let me ask you real quick on this this whole thing. Your friend went out there. Your friend's from here, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
Went out there to the mega church.
Right.
And just got to see Holstein.
Yeah.
Is it some?
Yeah.
Something where you make
after the service, he'll meet and greet people for a time.
And if there's thousands of people at the service, though.
Yeah, right? But there's also, not everybody wants to meet him at every service. From what I understand, like they have their regulars, and it's really just maybe it was just for guests, visitors, we'll say. I think if you're a visitor, you get in line and you can come talk to him for a few minutes. And this was maybe 12, 15 years ago. So it was before he was in his big church.
Oh. Okay.
It's not the stadium, the arena he's in now. It was the facility. I think it held, I think it was around 8,000 people, and they had, multiple services. So although they had many people visiting, I don't think it was, if I remember right, I think there were 30, 40 people that wanted to come say hi, is what I was told at that particular day, that particular time. So,
wow.
But I think we need to investigate this more. And I think we're gonna. I think we are gonna have two very special guests on the next couple episodes. And we're going to discuss, is God still in the miracle business? And we're going to talk to Dr. Adam Clagg of Covenant Church in Soddy Daisy. And we're going to ask him this question, and we're going to see what biblically they have to say. And we've also got an interview with Pastor Eddie Ellison of Middle Cross Baptist Church in Hixson, and we're going to ask him the same question. And we're going to see what they have to say.
So what you're saying is, you need some professional help.
Yes, I need some answers. I need professional help. This is very true. That's always been true. But maybe we'll find out what kind of see if they have any see what the authorities say about the authority of miracles. Yeah.
Speak my authority.
Yeah, thank you. Cartman made another appearance today. We like Cartman. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, so what do you say? We'll get into that. So you want to learn more? Check out our next upcoming episodes. They're going to be great. And well, I think that kind of wraps it up for us today, Josh. Are you doing okay with that?
Oh yeah, man.
Well, that's great. And I think my conclusion to this is, I will say it again: life is more enjoyable believing in miracles, because I think it's all a matter of perspective.
I agree with you on that one.
Well, we appreciate you guys listening. Everybody, thank you for all the downloads, all the likes, all the comments. You can visit us at TwoLikeableGuys.com. You can send us an email at TwoLikeableGuys@gmail.com. You can also visit our social media pages. Facebook, we believe I have Facebook and an Instagram and maybe some others.
Twitter. We're on Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we appreciate you guys listening to us today. Thank you very much, Josh. You did a great job as usual.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, we like you, and we hope you like us too.
Later.